Hello. Can I first acknowledge that I know my hair looks like some kind of space alien? Trying to style curly hair and make it look presentable on camera. It looks so damn crazy. It's really hard. I've been working on it for 10 minutes. I can't do nothing else to it, so I know I look like an alien. I look like, what's his name in that vampire movie? I forgot that movie. At the end, he had that big old cone head. Anyway, this video, of course, is from the title you can see, is my thoughts and opinions on the Tasha K Surviving Jaguar Wright series, part 1. I have to get to 2 and 3. That's a whole other thing to sit for an hour and watch something. Let's see, where do I start? So, there were 3 main parts that I liked about it, just for my overall synopsis of what I really liked about it, my 3 key things. I like that over the course of the interview, the first, 30 or so minutes, she interviews, 40 minutes, she interviews the ex-husband. Then somewhere toward the middle end, all of a sudden the sun comes on, we see his point of view, but it's not like he's not in the same room. I'm sure Dad may have been in the room with him, but I feel like it was a more comfortable situation where the son could freely speak. Dad wasn't there, sitting right next to him. We really got to hear the son's real, true, authentic thoughts, I think. I like that, and then I like how it switched back to the dad. I liked all that. That was good. I liked the way it was gently presented. Tasha did a really great job at making that ex-husband feel really comfortable and feel like open, not defensive. I don't feel like he said anything exceptionally, like anything hateful or really too bad. Not even really bad, to be honest. And I feel like she made it a really comfortable environment for him to speak. The son, she was so gentle with him. And Tasha can be rough. She can be gentle, but I feel like she made this a really gentle interview. Tasha got a little mouth on her. She can really go left. She didn't do it. She just made it a really, jeez, sorry, I don't know all kind of shit going on. She made it a really, really nice, easy, relaxed environment, and she was so kind and just nice. I like that. The third thing I really liked, goes in line with the gentleness. I like Tasha's kindness with the family. She just was really gentle with the family, and I appreciated that. It wasn't this hard-hitting, like her being aggressive with them. She opened a space where where the son and him were able to just say their perspective of life and surviving Jaguar Wright. So let me go down a little bit on my notes. So I read this in the comments, and I have to admit I was thinking the same thing. In the beginning, homeboy was just like really talking about his pool career and how when he met Jackie, and she was better than him, and he couldn't have anybody be better than him, and he was just going on, and it was like, this is like 10 minutes for him talking about his pool career. Like, who cares? That was my initial thought. But I think we all need to understand also that Tasha, we don't know what deal she may have made with him. We don't know what she agreed to in order to be able to be granted the interview. I think, who knows? But I think she wanted him to feel comfortable to the point where we got to know him a little bit, along with knowing how he survived Jackie. And I think she knew to let him go on about his pool. She normally would be so shady with that. She wasn't. She let him talk about his pool career and over because you have to, there's a give and take. The young man said he wasn't paid. The dad may have been paid, may have not. But the fact that he granted the interview, you have to give something back. There's a give and take, and he was able to promote that. Maybe that's what he does for a career. Maybe we'll look him up and see he does tournaments. I don't know. But it's a reason for everything. It was just a good way to make him feel relaxed and not defensive. And she did. So I think it was a very strategic reason why she let him go on for at least 7 minutes about that. So there's that. Hold Hold on, I'm just going through my notes. Okay. And then just skipping ahead, these are just my little thoughts in general, the things that I found interesting. I also read the comments, and y'all were thinking the same thing I was thinking. The fact that Jaguar said that the son is autistic, and the son said, well, I'm not autistic. I think he is autistic, and I think he more than likely has a form of autism called Asperger's. He's very highly functional. The father and the grandmother appear to have done an amazing job acclimating him into society and helping him be able to move through and be as socialized as possible. That's how I'll put it. I've met two people, ironically, in the past year and a half who have Asperger's. And they're just like that. They're just like that young man was. And I've known of Asperger's way before meeting those two people. But I'm just saying that really falls in line with it. So I think that Jaguar may have been telling the truth. But I also think that the father has probably told that son, you don't have it. Because he didn't want the son to have a crutch of a disability on him. It's complicated. And then also, I'm sure that the dad doesn't want the son. Think about job prospects. Think about after he graduates college. Think about this public interview we can all see on YouTube. Prospective employers see things you wouldn't believe they see. If I were the father, not even the son, he's young. If I were the father, I wouldn't want that necessarily out there to hinder my son's potential future career. And people are judgmental. People write you off if you deal with a disability, whether they can see or a form of intellectual disability, or people are very judgmental. And I do believe he has it, but I believe the father very specifically, the dad didn't want that information out there, and I don't blame him. People are very, people are cruel, and yeah, hold on, I have a thought that's going through my head right now before I forget. Hold on, I had to pause it for a minute because I had something that's kind of important to me, and it was slipping. But yeah, people are cruel. Having that information out publicly may not be the best course of action for their family and for his future career. I'll leave that there. One thing I will say, Tasha was referring to autism as almost like mental illness. So that in itself would be a reason why a family member wouldn't want it to be publicly known this child deals with Asperger's, because of the fact that Tasha herself was misdiagnosing it as a form of mental illness. Asperger's is not mental illness. And she just kept saying it. And she wasn't trying to be shady. It was just ignorance. It was not knowing. So the fact that she kept calling it that, people don't understand certain medical conditions. And why would they? It doesn't apply to them. It doesn't affect their life. But the fact that so now somebody has put out there on the video, Tasha made the video and said, and she was referring to Asperger's or autism as a form of mental illness. Do you know how many people now have just seen the video and believe that because they don't even understand autism themselves? So yeah, I don't blame the family for saying he absolutely doesn't have it, because Tasha, even in her own video, she has a huge following, huge numbers, misdiagnosed what autism really is herself. So if she doesn't know, guess how many people don't know? Guess how many people prejudge and think you're not capable if you have it? I don't blame Dad. And that's my end on that point. Okay. And for a moment, onto kind of a almost moment of laughter here. The more and more we kept hearing, when they were showing Jaguar's clips of words she said out of her own mouth, and from what the ex-husband said and delivered, almost everything he said, clips of her prove what he said was the truth. Jaguar sounds like a heinous person. She sounds like not a good person. But even in the comments, I was still reading people were still victimizing her, still calling her a victim. No, I don't think that lady's a victim. She it's crazy. Like she does not sound like a good person, but people still found a way to make her a victim. It's a thing with women how sometimes we just make each other a victim no matter how bad we are because it's a fellow woman. And that's no, Jaguar sounds like I'm not gonna even say crazy or maybe troubled, but not even necessarily crazy, but just like not a good person. And sorry, that's kind of how it's really looking. And I was gonna make a point. I made in my notes. I said, are we gonna just go over the fact that when Jaguar was asked about how the sex was with Talib Kweli, oh, that song he has got to get by. I love that song. I haven't heard it in years, but I say I love it. But I have to, I'm going to save it on my playlist. Regardless of whoever he is in real life, I don't care. I like the music. You know, unless you're R. Kelly and, you know, you're a monster. I haven't listened to his music in years. But she said that the sex was all right, but the sex with his best friend was better. Why would you tell people that you're over here getting banged out by the guys in the group while you were on tour and fucking married? Why would you say that? So maybe, I don't know. You don't sound like a good person when you tell people that. Why would you tell us that? There goes my stupid food. Damn it. But anyway, when she said that, this thought immediately popped in my head. Miss Jackie Jaguar, if the sex with Talib was so mediocre and not that great, why were you willing to leave your husband? As you stated out of your own mouth, you were going to leave your husband for him, but the sex was bad. Now, I'm not saying sex is the only reason why you should why you should like somebody, but she talked about having a full-on affair and she's going to leave her husband and the sex wasn't even good. Okay, sis, maybe he was just a wonderfully, intoxicatingly spiritual man and his best friend was better. Jesus. We're just going to skip over that, huh? Okay, fine. So my little closing points here. The last thing in the tell-all, the surviving series. Jaguar's story about her son being sexually assaulted. I think it's pretty believable, the son's version of the story, and the dad's, and even Jaguar's. But somebody putting their member, even if a person's clothed, on the back or hind parts, is a sexual assault. But that wasn't Jaguar's story to tell. Her son, I don't care if that's his mother, she had no business putting that information out there. That was that son's right to tell that story. You don't expose. So do I think she's crazy? I don't know what she is, but she does say things that you really shouldn't say. But that wasn't her right to expose that about her son. It wasn't her right. That wasn't her story to tell. It didn't happen to her, and she had no right to even say it. He very well may have actually been sexually assaulted. The dad and the son may be playing the story down. But we all know when men experience sexual assault that we judge them differently. And I say the word judge. It's not like with women where there's sympathy and stuff. Young men or whatever, boys are looked at differently when any kind of sexual assault occurs with them, especially with somebody of the same sex. So I'll end this and say for part one, I really enjoyed it. I think it was done well. Tasha, if she's done another documentary, I don't know of it. This is my first time seeing that version of that. I think Tasha could have a little pretty good career in doing docuseries, and maybe she's evolving to the next level and gonna start doing docuseries. Maybe this is the opening. If this is the beginning of it, Tasha, great job so far. So part one is good. I don't really understand the need for part 2 or 3. I'll be back to say my opinions, but I feel like we kind of got everything we needed to know. Maybe it's more. Let's see. Bye.